Hi, this is Reese from CreataCRM, and we're going to be going through the sales module in the quote section in the sales module. This one is going through the basic detail view and what each of the fields are, and we'll cover on the key features in the quote section. There are going to be some videos that goes deeper into the heavier features that we have, but this one will be an overview of pretty much what a lot of people use it for. So let's take a look at this section here. So we're in the sales module here in the sales dashboard. So we're going to create a quick quote. So we're going to click on the plus button up the top right section here and select quote. Now here's the quote detail view you've got here. First section here, you've got to select customer. Now just notice here, make a comment that in the term section, it defaults to the database settings, which is due on receipt. But when you search for a customer in the section, and that will search a contact and a customer, and you can select here, you've got a company section here where it's a company. If I just search Reese, you can see there's a contact section just here where the icon changes that is an individual or a person. Individuals can link to companies as well, so it's got a pretty powerful section there. So we now select the company. Now it will pre-populate the billing address and the shipping address across here and change the terms because this company is a good payer and we're giving an extra 15 days of pay. The due date will then do the calculations here as well, and the sales rep here is just the sales rep. Usually by default is the person creating the quote, but if you've got an admin staff, you can change to another person in the organization who can follow that person, because we have automatic reports that we can send an email out and give people reminders as well. The reminder section just to let you know what's in here. So if you've got a little bill here, you can opt in and manage when a quote expires, notify the owner. So that's important, where in this section here, you can notify the sales rep to follow up this particular quote. So it is that simple. So the other elements here we can cover later, but we can do drop shipping. So this organization, I've put a number of locations in here. We'll cover that later in the another part of the video. And then we've got shipping method, which is self-explanatory. Australia Post, you can have a unlimited amount of drop-down menus. You can manage that drop-down list here. Now that's a client purchase order that you can have, ABC 1, 2, 3 here, and that's obviously the reference to the company has given you a reference for this particular quote. Now you've got the valid tool, and that's the one we're talking about beforehand. When this expires, it will then notify the sales rep over here that the quote is expired. Now you've got something called a price list. That is very powerful. We have an unlimited amount of price books you can have. That's really important to the industry. It's really something that you can define a price book. You can, for example, have 10% off, or you can have unlimited price book. So it can connect to the customer, the price book. For this particular customer, it has no price books right now, so it's none in the section there. So he gets a default catalog or price book that you have already. So the next section is you can customize these columns along here. So the thing that a lot of our clients are wanting is just they want to customize or reduce the columns that are displayed for their particular view. So what you do here is you can actually hover your mouse button over the cog section and you can reduce columns. So for one is that you don't want to see cost pricing, cost tax amounts, and you can start reducing your price modifications, which is another conversation we're going to go through. Quantity, we want to move it up and move it around. So you can move things really nicely along here and customize this and drag and drop other type of columns that you need to have in here. So I'm going to apply that, and it's now reduced the columns that I have in this section here. So that there is a nice way to customize your views as well. Now along here is the next section, and that's just giving you the totals that you have in front of you, the total cost, total subtotals, markup, material and labor as well. So we do divide our inventories into products and services in our system. So that means that if you're building components, you will be able to actually group the costings of the labor and materials in the system as well. So we've got that. So the next thing we're going to add lines. There's 3 elements to add lines you've got here. We'll go through the first one. You click on the add button, and it reduces the line down. Then you click on the drop down menu, it searches your product list that you've got in here. So when I choose a particular item in here, and it will bring the item across. You can see the item number, descriptions, and you can type in the quantity in here for 10, and it will just calculate the cost of $2,200 as well. So that's a simple way to create a particular line item. Other things you got along here in these columns, you've got a couple action sections here. This one is a bit of an advanced feature here where you can add the label and materials and tasks per item, and that's one of the advanced sections you have along that you can do. That's really important. We'll cover that as well in another video. So the next buttons you have along here is the add bulk. That means you get a list of your inventory and you can search them. So that's a section here you can go, I want 2 of those and 1 of those, and it gives you ability to add bulk at a time, and you can click on the add button and that will add those items in the section. And see, I said 1 of those and 2 of those, and it brings it across nicely as well. You've got the add bundle section in here, and that's section here. So that's great for linear meter section. So for example, every meter I times these particular components, like for example the ultra set Shore Bond drums is 0.7. So every meter I do, I want to have 13 meters of this. It therefore will calculate all those particular variables, and you can take them off and it calculates. So it's great for quoting and pricing when you've got to measure in meters or length or those particular areas. So that helps you with that particular problem in your system. The other things you can do is just quick create a particular product service, and you can create a product service in here. So it's great for when you're because we link to other accounting systems, you will be able to just simply quickly create items that you want to quote on, you're never going to use, and then when it's ready to invoice or into the accounting systems, we can push those particular elements across into the system. So what we're going to do is now save and view this particular quote. So save, drop down menu here, and click on the view button along here. So there you go, it's now displaying in our system here. So when you go through in the system, it shows you it's current. We have not sent an email from here, so we definitely will help you to tell you if there's no email sent to this particular client itself. Show you that it's defaulting to draft. You've got other elements here where you've got a price book along here. You can click on here and change the price book if you want to, and just say give this person 10% off that. Just be careful. So you would want to change the price book before you add the items. That's just a mental note. When you do that, you've got other things like you can create a bundle from here. So you can actually just, in the end, when you do a complex price, you can create a bundle. So that's one of the takeoffs that we were talking about beforehand, that you can actually design your own bundles after the quote itself as well, and then gives you the totals. Again, here, if I wasn't haven't covered that off here, you've got the comment section where you can just click on the drop down menu and have a happy Easter, but you can customize your drop downs or just type away the particular comments in this section here. Now, above here, it tells you before you're going to push in this is the reckon button for this accounting package. We've got NYB0 and QuickBooks Online. So what with this one here is that it's telling you cannot send this into reckon, only because it doesn't. None of these items are in the system. So if I pretty much chose a reckon item, and I'll see if I can choose one here. So I'm going to type in bomber jacket. Okay, so what happens is when I select one that's in reckon, it will actually show an R in reckon, so it's similar to all the other accounting packages we have. We will notify you that this is an accounting package. The other cool thing about it that we can do is that we hover over and tell you what it is, because we find a lot of people when they're sending in the invoices are creating quotes, they're not too sure what it is, and we can tell you, for example, this particular one is an inventory part. It also has 93 on hand units and reorder stock as well. So for example, if they can straight away see if the on hands are low and the reorder stock is pretty much the same number as the on hands, they will probably tell the purchasing order person to order those people, because I've got a quote here for a bomber jacket, and that's really and you're low on stock. Can you please purchase this, because this person's ready to go as well. So it gives that brings the unknowns back to the sales reps or the users really quickly as well, and again, it really makes it easy for people to use. Okay, the next section is sending an email. So if you hover your mouse button over here, it shows you that you can send an email. Now, how it picks the email address, it just shows it here. So you've got a company in contact here, so it figures out where is the email address. So it's actually on Ree's half of the contact. from the organization creator. And again, just another thing just nice to know is that when you hover over here, it shows you the phone number, so you'll be able to call that person up just without clicking on other screens as well. So that's a pretty cool thing. But back to the email section here. Really important to note that we're going to just talk a little bit about this, is that you've got different templates you have. And the great thing you need to know is when I actually select a particular template, so when I choose the basic quote main example and I select this, it's going to pop up a screen. Now each template has a wide quote section to it, and you can attach attachments to it. So what that means is that when I send an email quote here, it pops up in the merge tag as Reese Harper. This is the email that you can expand this little button to see the template, but you can type over it as well. You can see the report section here. This is the report it's going to. So it's going to be grabbing a report, embedding it into that particular email as well. Now also in the email templates you can have attachments as well. So you can have default attachments. So if you're selling a particular product, you can create an email template all about that product. You can also embed attachments about that product and the report about that product. So that's great to have in our system, where not only sending the emails but attachments about that product as well. So that's really great for you to know. I'm just going to click on email and I'll click on close in that section. Now to see how you look at those email templates, you click on the drop down menu and you've got show email templates in here, and you can see all the different email templates. So we're going to go back to the quote example template, and just here's the main screen. Now, things you want to know about the email templates, you can, again, you embed the reports that you want on it and the attachments in the attachment tab. So you can change it each time, or you can have a heap of variations of a template with different quotes. So it gives you that ability to, if you're commonly sending the same type of emails with attachments, you can just create an email template as well. Now just to let you know, you can clone templates really easily just here. If you have a good example, clone it and attach. Now the other thing you want to know is every time you send it to a quote out, it will default to send item. So if I send a quote out here in the system and send it out, it's going to change the stage to send. Okay. Now that brings up what is the sent section here. If I click on the status, I'm going to probably close that, and so you see where I hover over here and it says click to see sales status. We actually have a sales status in our quote section, and that's really important because that really helps reports. You can have all these different connect steps on what stages you have. So for example, if I see here it says I created a draft in the section, so I can change that to current and save that section here, go back here, and I have a timeline of when each step I changed to, and that really helps for the reports for this the business owners, so they can see it was 15 minutes in draft and 26 seconds in current. So that's really important. So that means that if I save and close, if I just send an email out from here and it changes the connective steps, so when I send it out as an email, it automatically changes to save. So that means that you can see when it was sent, so you can then do follow-ups and understand when it was sent, and know that probably give yourself 7 days to go through and create a follow-up. Now again, that's important to know that you can create the follow-ups in this section here, and you can create a reminder for yourself to do a follow-up. Now that's in the CRM module, but you can notify yourself again here to say I want to remind myself in this due date. It's right now, but if I change the due date to something more reasonable, to it's the 5th of May, and save and close, that will do that. So that's create a reminder for myself in 7 days for this particular quote, which is 0 out of 1 incomplete. So the next thing we should show is reports. If you click on the report drop-down menu, you've got all these different examples. In the other videos, we're going to go through them, but you've got so many different examples out of the box that we have for you on different scenarios that you will have in quotes as well. And then we've got a sign-off page. For example, when you send an email here, so one of these emails has a sign-off page in it here with signature, and that means that when you send an email, expected behavior, you will be able to the user can click on it and say, yes, I'm happy with that quote. I want to go ahead, accept quote, just get my accept quote, and then it goes from here. You can, in some occasions, you can have sign-off pages in here. For this example, it doesn't have it, but you can sign off on that, and it agrees to for the quote, and it sends out an email to you that you have won the quote. So that's fantastic news. So that's the basic detail section of the quoting section. So next video, what we're going to cover is just the grouping sections and how we have achieved those, and how that how it helps certain industries of defining groupings of quotes. And I'll talk you over that in the next video. Hope that helps. So in the 15 minutes, I'll speak to you soon.